Assalamualaikum and greetings to my fellow examiner, Miss Arifah. My name is Muhammad Haikal bin Muhammad Johan. Today, we'll be discussing on my final year project, data visualization of online learning issues among students of higher education. The supervisor for this project is Dr. Aznora binti Osman. Let me start off this presentation with some brief introduction about this project. The project starts off by collecting and analyzing students' feedback towards online learning during the pandemic. Eventually, two datasets has been identified, which are the feedback of Jordan University students towards online learning and also the feedback on using WhatsApp as a medium during online learning. The next step is to visualize the collected dataset. The visualization tools was Power BI and also Weka for data cleaning. After the data has been visualized, the aspect of students' issues can be easily identified, such as the impact on students' mental health and academic, their opinion on using WhatsApp as course deliverable, their hindrances, and also changes in communication behavior in using WhatsApp as a medium in online learning. Finally, based on the objectives of the project, user benefits can be identified, such as app developers can use the system to easily identify and tackle students' problems by developing a better learning platform. Students can also use this dashboard to overview their feedback and do a self reflect for future improvement, perhaps. And finally, lecturers of higher education can monitor students' feedback using this dashboard. Now it will be discussed on the problems identified previously, and that problem eventually becomes motivation or inspiration to the creation of dashboard. When students are having trouble adapting to online learning, it inspires me to do a study on this topic. Next, lecturers or instructors, they lack a suitable teaching tools to deliver course content, which motivates me to identify what is the flaw and setbacks of current online learning tools. And finally, it is noticeable that app developers have trouble in helping students in online learning because they lack a proper visuals that inform them the issues that they need to solve. The solution is to develop a dashboard that visualize the information they needed in order to develop a better learning platform. Moving on to the literature review, where we will be discussing the previous works related to the project. The first project is about researchers using VSM or vibrating sample magnetometer visuals to visualize a class activities, and the graph will be triggered through actions made by students in the learning Moodle platform to describe the trends in student behavior. The second work is about using heat map to increase students' awareness in their behavior in online learning. The heat map represents the average number of attempts per exercise, average points of first attempt, average improvement, and the average distance between submission to deadline. As discussed previously, the objectives that has been achieved by the end of the project are to analyze the datasets on issues in online learning, to design and develop a dashboard that visualizes the feedback and issues of online learning, and finally, to evaluate the dashboard's usability via user acceptance test. The research scopes was identified to make sure the final prototype of dashboard is consistent and delivered to the users. The issues of online learning has been narrowed and easy for users to identify and perceive every information. Secondly, the dashboard is created using only Power BI because this is the best free data visualization tool. And finally, the color, shapes, and elements arrangement in the dashboard has been designed to be as user-friendly as possible. Moving on to the next slide. Every research significance will be maintained from the start all the way to the end of the project. Users will be motivated throughout the user experience of the dashboard because the theme is user-friendly. The features and functions of the dashboard such as statistical output, interactive dashboard, dynamic visuals, and smooth navigation, will satisfy users. Finally, the overall task of dashboard can satisfy every user needs. As discussed before, the development methodology will involve four phases such as preliminary study, analysis, development, and also testing. In the first phase, it was explored on topic about students' issues in online learning. The proposal's objective, problem, scope, literature review has been identified. Therefore, therefore, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 proposal are completed. In analysis phase, the datasets regarding the project title has been discovered and identified. Eventually, the first objective was achieved, which is was which was to analyze the datasets about the issues of online learning within higher education. In the third phase, it involved visualizing the dataset, develop and also design the dashboard, while at the same time, research objective 2 was achieved. And finally, the testing phase was handled by conducting a user acceptance test. Therefore, the research objective 3 has been achieved, which is to evaluate the usability and the performance of dashboard. The results from the test can be seen in the following slides. In the first section of the user acceptance test, the question will be related to respondent background. The question will ask respondents' gender, age, education level, and their experience in using dashboard. As a result, the respondents' population is mostly female. Almost 90% of them is aged between 18 to 34. More than half of the respondent population has bachelor degree, and almost 80% of them have no experience in using dashboard. In this section, it will show the mean scores achieved for each question in perceived ease of use. Mean scores would indicate the average answers ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Number 1 is for strongly disagree, which is the lowest, while 5 is the highest, which is for strongly agree. The result shows that question 3 has the highest mean score, meaning that users find it very easy for the dashboard to accomplish any task they desire. Question 1 has the least amount of mean score, but still holds a solid 4.21 score, meaning that average users agree that the interaction with the dashboard is clear and understandable. Since perceived ease of use section is about evaluating the usability of dashboard, research objective 3 was accomplished. Moving on to the next section in user acceptance test, which is perceived usefulness, where the question is related to the features and functions of the dashboard. The result shows that question 5 has the highest mean score of 4.48, meaning that app developers find the dashboard very useful to use it as a way to improve the current online learning system. Question 2 has the least amount of mean score but still holds a 4.18 mean score, meaning that the average users agree that using a dashboard increases the productivity. Since perceived usefulness section is about evaluating the performance of dashboard, research objective 3 was accomplished. Continuing to the next section in user acceptance test, which is attitude. The result shows that question 1 has the highest mean score of 4.55, meaning that users are very pleasant with the idea of using e-learning feedboard to show student feedback on online learning using charts like pie, bar graph, etc. Question 2 has the least amount of score, but still holds a solid 4.52 mean score, meaning that users are liking the overall design of dashboard. Since the attitude section is about the design of dashboard, research objective 2 was achieved in the test, which is to design and develop a dashboard for data visualization. For the last section of user acceptance test, it is about the intention to use of dashboard system. The result of the test shows that question 1 has the highest mean score of 4.27, meaning that users intend to use the dashboard assuming that they have access to it. Question 2 has the least amount of mean score but still holds a 4.24 mean score, meaning that users predicted that they would use the dashboard if they have access to it. Okay, so we will now move on with the demonstration of e-learning feedboard, where it will discuss on the instructions, features, and functions of the dashboard. Okay, so the first thing you see in the home page is the dashboard title, and right here you will see a brief introduction, everything user need to know before they use the dashboard. For example, what is the dashboard for? If you click the number, it will display an overlay box that focus on description for each question. Okay, what is the data set about? This is the title of the data set, and this button right here, it will redirect user to the about page, will be shown later. And this is the dashboard button that will go into the main page of the dashboard. I will click now, and then this is the main page of the first data set. So in this hamburger panel, they have the button on home, the first data sets, which is about the Jordan University students, and the second data sets, which shows the feedback on using WhatsApp as a medium in online learning. And the last section of the hamburger menu is about icon. Okay, as you can see in the first page of the Jordanian University students dataset, it will show a summarized version of the graphs. So the first part is the total of students participated. As you can see, there are 775 students participate for the survey. And this is the bar graph that shows the online learning feedback before and after COVID-19. For example, online learning affects students' sleeping habits, but after COVID-19, it's shown a significant difference. In this part right here, it shows a KPI section that shows the usage of digital tools before and after COVID-19. For example, a total of 373 students use laptop after COVID-19. Compared to before COVID, it was 187. This shows a big increase of 99.47%. For example, for mobile phones, it shows a heavy decrease before 483 students, after COVID, 350 students, a negative 27.54%. Okay, below here, you can see the area chart that shows also the usage of digital tools before and after COVID-19. As you can see from this result, laptop has a bigger area, which indicate that every student use laptop more often after COVID-19. Okay, on the right corner, it will show the pie chart for students' achievement in terms of CGPA during online distance learning. As a result, many students have scored during the ODL. Okay, so now we will move on to the categories of students' issues. You can click the hamburger menu and go to the mental health. Okay, one of the categories identified in the students' issues is mental health. The visualizations in mental health section will be related to mental health, such as the prolonged use of digital tools makes students socially and psychologically unhealthy. Okay, as you can see, each visuals have tachometer and bar chart as the default. Okay, the legends will show a positive and negative impact. What that means is negative impact will represent the red color. For example, in this tachometer, 73% students agree that prolonged use of digital tools makes them socially and psychologically unhealthy, which is not beneficial for them. So that's why it is labeled as red color. The bigger the portion it takes, the worse the outcome is. Question says physical learning helps strengthen the personality of students, so it is beneficial to them, to the students. So the bigger the green percentage is, better the outcome for them. There's a feature where it enables user to switch visualization. For example, the default will display the bar chart. If I click the area button, it will switch to the area chart. If user want to see the percentage for each responses. For agree to 20%, and for strongly agree, 47%. For users that is interested in statistical results, they can click Stats button, and the graph will display the mean and standard deviation. For referring to the legend down here, most users had the average mean score of 4.12, meaning that they agree that prolonged use of digital tools make them socially and psychologically unhealthy. Okay, if a user wants to have a better explanation on this tachometer, they can hover their mouse over here and see the explanation. 73% of students agree that prolonged use of digital tools can be socially and psychologically unhealthy for them. So now we will move on to the academic feedback. So the questions in these visualizations will be related to academic aspect. So the principle is the same with the previous page. So now we will move on to the next data set, which is about using WhatsApp as a medium in online learning. As you can see, the theme color has changed because it is to indicate users that they are on a different data sets. As you can see in this KPI section, it shows the time spent on WhatsApp before and after COVID-19. And the percentage here shows the increase and decrease regarding to before and after COVID. This right top corner shows a pie chart. It shows the subject categories involved in using WhatsApp. Below here, you will see the area chart of English performance in WhatsApp. As a result, most students have good level of English language used in WhatsApp. This right here is a ribbon chart for English usage in terms of subject groups. And here user can use the filter to filter between subject. Example, in subject arts, many students have a total of 128 students have good English. Subject commerce, a total of 608 students have good performance of English. Okay, so now we will move on to the categories in this dataset. So their opinion on using WhatsApp, which have a tachometer and bar chart, area chart, and stats. Right here, you can see the changes in communication behavior due to learning via WhatsApp. In this page, user can switch between pages to see more questions about the changes in communication behavior. And lastly, the hindrances in WhatsApp in ICT learning. It explains the students' hindrances or challenges during online learning using WhatsApp. And if you go to the bottom part of the hamburger menu, click here and it will go to the About page. In the About page, it will explain about the project's mission, also the vision, and also the details about the developer. If user want to go back to the previous page, you can click the back button here. As a conclusion, several limitations throughout the development of the project were identified, and recommendations for future work can be summarized. The first limitation was about the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Initially, the data of students' feedback was to be collected from UITM police students. A face-to-face interviews with students on campus was the initial idea. The second limitation involves the feature limitation in Power BI. Supposedly, many attributes in different datasets can be visualized in just one dynamic pie chart, with professional features such as animations and customized pie chart sections. However, with only a 30-day free trial period for the features, the price required is rather expensive, resulting in the inability to use that dynamic pie chart. The final limitation is the lack of physical project exhibition. To perceive a better user feedback, it is suitable to exhibit this dashboard for users to test it by face to face. For future works, it is advisable for future researchers to further studies on this project due to online learning is still happening, ongoing, and the issues for students will persist. Researchers are also recommended to further the development on dashboards and visualization because we will never know any parties that require a proper visualization to solve their own problem. Okay, that is all for the final presentation. Thank you.